Giselle, my eldest son's wife, always speaks harshly to me and maintains a sarcastic attitude no matter how hard I try to build a good relationship with her. When invited to our granddaughter Marcia's 5th birthday party, my husband and I arrived only to find Giselle had prepared a meal and cake for just 3 people. Giselle, what about our meal? Only enough for the family. What? No food for stingy people here. She said this while still holding the gift and envelope we had just given her. A $500 gift for your granddaughter's celebration? Are you joking? My dad gave $2K. It should be at least $1K. I thought it was a normal amount. I'm at my limit. Can we cut ties after today? Giselle said with a full smile. Having my own parents here is more than enough. We don't need you. In fact, you're just in the way. My husband and I exchanged glances. Shall we go home? Yeah. I was shaking with anger. Enough of holding back. I will make her regret how she insulted us and ruined Marcia's birthday. I am Elise, a 60-year-old living with my husband, Matt. I work part-time in a restaurant. Ever since our eldest son, Jackson, landed a job at a major company, I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. Matt and I enjoy our days off together, going to movies or traveling. We have a good marriage. Matt is kind, and Jackson is serious and kind to his parents. I felt blessed but secretly worried that Jackson, in his late 20s, showed no signs of marrying. I hoped to be called grandma one day, but I understand many young people nowadays choose not to marry. Just when I had almost given up hope, Jackson brought home his fiancée. She was Giselle, the only daughter of a well-known local company. They met at a cafe near Jackson's company. Giselle, not adept at office work and looking to gain some experience, was working there part-time. She had approached Jackson and they started dating. She seemed like a capable, beautiful woman who could lead Jackson. The year after they married, they were blessed with a granddaughter named Marcia. Jackson and Giselle, who lived in a nearby condominium, would often bring Marcia to visit us during long weekends, besides Thanksgiving and Christmas. Matt and I adored Marcia, who was growing up so fast. Giselle always seemed happy watching us. However, what started as a good relationship between Giselle and me began to crack, triggered by her requests. One day, as usual, Jackson, Giselle, and Marcia came to visit. Seeing Matt and Jackson off on a shopping trip, Giselle approached me. Marcia has sensitive skin, so we have to be picky about her clothes. The ones with good designs are pretty expensive. Was she hinting that she wanted me to buy baby clothes? I wondered. Jackson earns a salary higher than the average for men in their 30s. He's so generous. Wouldn't he easily give money for children's clothes if I asked? Maybe they're saving for the future and don't want to spend from the household budget. And Giselle's family seems wealthier than ours. Maybe it's hard for her to ask her parents? Giselle, is there a particular outfit you want? After hesitating, I asked, and Giselle's face lit up. Yes, I love this brand because it's cute. Famous actresses often dress their kids in it. She showed me images on her mobile phone, and I was astonished. A short-sleeved t-shirt was $70, a lacy dress $100, and ballet shoes with the brand logo were an astonishing $1,000. Giselle, isn't that a bit extravagant for ordinary folks like us? I gently chided her, but Giselle retorted with widened eyes. Don't you find Marcia adorable? I don't mind wearing thrift store clothes, but I want my daughter to wear nice things. Overwhelmed by her fervor, I ended up buying the high-end clothes and shoes she insisted on. I hesitated to tell Matt about it, choosing to remain silent. I justified it to myself, thinking I bought these with my own salary, so it's okay, right? After that, besides other gifts, I continued to send clothes and shoes for Marcia's birthdays and Christmas. However, one thing puzzled me. Every time the clothes arrived, Giselle would send a thank you message, but she never posted pictures of Marcia wearing them. One weekend, while having lunch with a friend, I confided in her about this. She thought for a moment and then showed me an online marketplace. Is this? I gasped in surprise. Just 2 days after I had sent Giselle the clothes, the same items were listed on the site. The same items you bought for your eldest son's wife? Yes, a limited edition for spring. No mistake there. And they're unopened. I always buy children's clothes here, so I keep an eye on this brand. It's popular, and unopened items sell for a high price. My friend frowned. This person, I remember their username because it's unique. They post high-end brands several times a year, so I wondered if they were selling gifts they received. I had a bad feeling. If it happened just once, it could be a coincidence. But if it continued, it would mean Giselle was secretly selling the clothes I sent. Or worse, was she planning to sell them from the start and just using me to buy them? Afterwards, whenever I checked the online marketplace, 2 days after I sent the clothes, the same items listed by the same username would appear. Last year, during a visit to Jackson and Giselle's home, I finally decided to confront Giselle. I've decided to stop giving clothes as gifts. Eh? Why? Giselle puffed up her cheeks in response. Matt opposed the idea of such expensive children's clothes, but don't worry, I'll continue to give toys and gift cards as usual. I had finally talked to Matt about this matter, albeit late. Matt agreed with me. Giselle, being a housewife, might be selling the children's clothes for some extra cash. If you find it hard to refuse, feel free to use my name. Thank you, I'll do that. Sure enough, when I mentioned Matt's name, Giselle swallowed her complaints. She's not comfortable with the reticent Matt. Fine then, I understand. Matt's quite stingy, isn't he? She spat out the words bitterly, but after that, she never pestered me for children's clothes again. There were other behaviors of Giselle's that irked me. Perhaps due to being a germaphobe, whenever I tried to touch Marcia, Giselle insisted on me washing my hands with soap and sanitizing them. Furthermore, whenever I visited their condominium, Giselle would follow me with an alcohol spray, disinfecting everywhere I touched. It felt like being treated as a germ, which was unpleasant. Amidst growing distrust towards Giselle, I received an unexpected call from her. Surprised, I answered and she spoke with a buoyant voice. We're planning a birthday party for Marcia soon. Would you and Matt like to come and celebrate with us? Really? Is that okay? I had to ask again to be sure. We usually invite kindergarten friends, but this year, Marcia already celebrated with a friend whose birthday is close, so Jackson and I thought we'd invite you guys. How about next Sunday? We're free, thank you, we'll be there. I was planning to send the present by express delivery service as usual, so I was really happy. Is the doll she wanted before okay for a present, or would you prefer a gift card? Could we have cash this time? Understood. After discussing with Matt, I put the present and $500 in an envelope and went to Jackson and Giselle's condominium the following Sunday. The living room, stylishly decorated with pastel-colored balloons and garlands, had Marcia standing there with a shy smile, her hair adorned with a ribbon, wearing a pink dress. Grandma, Grandpa, thank you for coming to my birthday party. Marcia greeted us, holding the hem of her skirt, and both Matt and I couldn't help but smile warmly. She always looks cute, but today she looked like an angel or a fairy. Thank you for inviting us. Now 5 years old. You're a big girl now. Yes, I'm a big sister now. Her confident reply was irresistibly adorable. Dad, Mom, thanks for coming. We were surprised to see Jackson. It had been months since our last meeting, and he looked quite worn, with dark circles under his eyes. You look a bit thin. Is work keeping you busy? Oh, yeah. Jackson's vague smile gave me an uneasy feeling. Jackson, you've had your company health checkup, right? I have. Sorry, this is a call from work. He stepped out into the hallway, quickly ended the call, and returned to the room. I need to head out to the office for a bit. I'll be back by evening. Giselle, please order dinner for Dad and them, too. Okay. As Jackson hurriedly left, Giselle brought in a casserole and a whole birthday cake to the dining table. Dad's gone to work, so let's eat without him. While saying this, she cut the bear-shaped cake into 3 pieces. 3? I noticed that Giselle had set the table with only 3 plates and cutlery. She divided the casserole into 3 portions and placed them on the plates. Giselle, what about our portions? I asked, puzzled. Giselle just shrugged her shoulders. There's only enough for the family. What? No food for stingy people here. She said this almost singingly, holding the envelope we had just given her. A $500 gift for your granddaughter's birthday? Are you kidding? My dad gave $2,000. It should at least be $1,000. I thought it was a normal amount. As I quietly countered, Giselle looked at us and snorted. Normal? For someone working in a factory part-time, $500 must be a lot, right? Oh, I apologize then. Hey. Ignoring Matt's changing expression, Giselle continued in a mocking tone. I knew this family was poor before I even married. The house is old, the interior is outdated, and the whole family is incredibly stingy. This is what you call a marriage of financial disparity. And it's almost laughable. But this is worse than I expected. Anger welled up inside me. A marriage of financial disparity, she says? She was the one who pursued Jackson, and now she dares to talk like this. That's why I've always been thorough with disinfection, to avoid catching the poverty germs from you. It would be terrible if me, a CEO's daughter, or Jackson, who works in a major company, got infected. I see. That's why she was almost peeling her skin off, constantly wiping her hands with sanitizing wipes. But I'm at my limit. Can we cut ties after today? Giselle said this with a full smile towards Matt and me. Having my own parents is enough. We don't need you. In fact, you're just in the way. Matt and I exchanged glances. I thought Matt would be angry, but he seemed to have moved past anger to disbelief, wearing a cold expression. Shall we go? Yeah. As we headed to the entrance in disbelief, Marcia followed us, looking confused. Grandpa? Grandma? Are you leaving already? I was looking forward to playing with you. Seeing Marcia's tears, my heart clenched. I hugged Marcia. I'm sorry, darling. We have to go today, but we'll come and see you again soon. Until then, be a good girl and listen to Dad and Mom, okay? Okay, I understand. As Matt stroked Marcia's head, I noticed Giselle standing behind him, arms crossed, glaring at us. With heavy hearts, Matt and I left Marcia behind. In the evening, Jackson called after returning home. When I got home, Marcia's eyes were swollen. She had been crying since you two left. Is that so? Mom, you left because your stomach was hurting, right? It can't be helped. Did you go to the doctor? I'm feeling better now, thank you. Jackson's kindness warmed my heart. Compared to Giselle, after hanging up, intense anger welled up inside me, and my hands trembled. Giselle had driven Matt and me away, and Marcia's tears probably didn't matter to her at all. Enough of holding back. I will make her regret how she insulted us and ruined Marcia's birthday. Despite Giselle's declaration of cutting ties, she seemed to still hide her true self from Jackson. I hadn't left the family messaging app. Matt and I could still communicate with Jackson and Giselle. So I decided to use the messaging app to reveal Giselle's true nature to Jackson. Timing it during his company's break, I posted the online marketplace images in the group message. Giselle responded quickly. Elise, delete that photo right now. Oh, Giselle, I thought you wanted to cut ties with us. Right after my reply, a message from Jackson appeared. Giselle, what's this about? Don't believe her, Jackson. It's all lies from Elise about cutting ties. Lies? No, I'm talking about the clothes. The ones Mom gave for Marcia. I never saw her wear them, and they're on the online marketplace. Giselle, perhaps flustered, left the message on read without replying. And it's all of them. Did you have Mom buy them just to sell? I can't believe this. It's a coincidence. Someone else happened to sell the same clothes online. Jackson pressed on against Giselle's denial. That's your username, Giselle. When I get home, I'll check Marcia's closet. Since you insist, they should all be there, right? I remembered. She dirtied them as soon as she wore them, so I threw them away. All 20 of them? Selling them would have easily net over $1,000, right? I could sense a quiet fury in Jackson's messages. Soon after, a message from Jackson to me appeared. Mom, after work, can I bring Giselle to your house? I want the 4 of us to have a talk. Wait a minute, I'm not going. I have to take care of Marcia. Jackson responded to the panicking Giselle. I'll ask your parents to join us, so I'll come over after dinner. I have to get back to work now. After that, Jackson's messages stopped. Immediately, Giselle called me. Hey, old hag, stop meddling in things. My, how scary. I feigned fear at Giselle's ranting, but she continued yelling without lowering her tone. I told you we were cutting ties. Don't be all friendly in the family messages. That message was for Jackson. You reacted on your own. I spoke firmly. So you're not coming tonight? Jackson will find that suspicious. Giselle clicked her tongue on the other end and spoke in a low voice. Fine, I'll come, but if you pull any more weird stunts, you'll never see Marcia again. Remember that. Okay. We'll be waiting for you guys tonight. After hanging up, Matt and I, who had listened to the whole conversation, exchanged a knowing smile. That evening, Jackson and Giselle visited our house. Marcia was apparently left with Giselle's parents. Giselle, exuding an air of displeasure, didn't change her attitude even as the four of us sat at the dining table. But when I laid out the photos, she instantly paled. As Giselle frantically gathered the photos and stuffed them into her skirt pocket, I arranged the remaining few in front of Jackson. They were photos of Giselle and a man closely entwined in front of a champagne tower at a nightclub. Where did you find these? Giselle glared at me with intense eyes, but I explained with a smile. A friend's daughter works at a bar. She went to a nightclub and mentioned seeing someone named Giselle partying extravagantly. Giselle, being model-like beautiful, apparently stood out a lot. I didn't believe it at first, but when I showed your photo to my friend's daughter, she recognized you. Then I searched your username from the online marketplace and social media, and that's how I found these images. Jackson picked up one of the photos. There was a fierce anger in the usually calm Jackson's face. A nightclub, huh? Jackson, there's a reason for this. You left Marcia with me saying you were working overtime and went out to places like this every night? The story about helping a friend was a lie then. Giselle, faced with his icy tone, didn't even try to excuse herself. Jackson sighed and covered his forehead with his hand. So the clothes Mom gave were sold to fund these nightclub outings. No wonder the pocket money was never enough. It's not like I was cheating or anything. What's the big deal? As Giselle became defiant, I let a smile play on my lips. More to come. By the way, Jackson, did you bring what I asked for earlier? Yes. Jackson took out credit card statements and a bank passbook from his bag, causing Giselle's eyes to widen. Jackson, don't take things out without asking. The card's mine and the passbook is in both our names. It's fine to show them. Giselle, rendered speechless by Jackson's unyielding tone, shut her mouth angrily. Jackson spread out both the card statement and the bank passbook on the table, exclaiming in shock as soon as he saw them. Matt and I, peeking over, were equally stunned. No wonder. The card's revolving payments balance exceeded $20,000, and the bank account had only a few dollars left. This can't be true. The card's maxed out, and all the money we saved from Marcia has been spent. Besides the dumbfounded Jackson, Giselle puffed up her face and turned away. Well, frequenting nightclubs would quickly burn through a few $1,000s. Jackson, who had been calm until now, finally exploded in anger. Giselle, touching our child's savings is absolutely wrong. How can you even call yourself a mom? Shut up, all of you. Giselle, irritated, tossed her hair and spat out. What's wrong with using your money as I please, you stingy man? She stood up, facing Jackson, and unleashed a tirade. Listen, I married you because you work at a major company. I thought I could spend money freely and live luxuriously without working. But once we started living together, it's all about saving for the kid. Cutting down on eating out, saving money, all your commands. Ridiculous. Jackson's face grew rigid. After a long stare down with Giselle, he sighed softly. I understand. Let's divorce. I can't do this with you anymore. Since it seems you've caused Mom a lot of distress, I'll be asking for alimony too. Distress is mutual. Fine. I'll ask my dad. He'll happily pay the alimony and the card bills. I don't need any of you. Giselle spoke arrogantly, then burst into shrill laughter. I pointed my mobile phone at her. You sure you should be saying that? Huh? Your dad's company has gone bankrupt. Giselle was taken aback. She snatched my mobile phone and stared at the screen in disbelief. frozen. It just appeared on the local online news. Haven't you heard anything from your father? He mentioned the recession and having trouble with finances, but he always fulfilled my requests. Giselle's earlier bravado had vanished. Her face paled and her voice trembled. Then her mobile phone rang. Giselle took it out, swallowed hard, and answered the call. Dad, it's not true that the company's bankrupt, right? I'm sorry, we tried our best, but it didn't work out. So I'm afraid I can't support you financially anymore. Giselle's face contorted, looking like she might cry at any moment. What? But I need the money. Paying our employees is all we can manage. I'm retiring as president and will live quietly with Mom. You should live happily with Jackson and Marcia. Giselle's dad's loud voice made the entire conversation audible. Live happily? We're probably getting divorced. Really? Anyway, the nightclub called. They asked when you're paying the $20,000 bill. Giselle's face twisted even more. I thought I'd ask you for it. That's impossible. Giselle's dad dismissed the idea outright. Giselle, you're 35 years old, a full-grown adult. You need to sort this out yourself. Good luck. Giselle, holding the disconnected phone, looked utterly defeated. Actually, we've been saving money for Marcia for when she grows up. $100,000. Giselle's eyes widened as if they might pop out. We didn't remodel our old house and saved every penny. We thought of giving it to you to help with the debt if you apologized and showed some remorse. But you said we were not needed, right? So you don't need it then. Giselle's mouth moved like a fish out of water, but no words came out. Anyway, that's the end of this discussion. Goodbye. With that cold statement, Giselle grabbed Jackson's arm, pleading with tear-filled eyes. Hey, Jackson, you won't abandon me, right? I was just joking about wanting a divorce. I'll apologize. Let's continue as before. Marcia is still so young, right? Dad, Mom, sorry for staying so late. I'll discuss the divorce with Giselle, Jackson said calmly and took the frantic Giselle home. It seemed Giselle wanted Jackson to reconsider, but of course that didn't happen, and they ended up divorcing. Payments for the credit card Jackson owned that Giselle used without permission, their joint bank account, and the nightclub bills. In addition to this, there was a $10,000 alimony payment for the divorce. Burdened with debt, Giselle, unable to rely on her parents, reluctantly started a part-time job. Her life became difficult. Under the condition that she wouldn't have to pay child support, Jackson took custody of Marcia. He regularly allows Marcia to see Giselle. Giselle, working from early morning till late night, lost her former glamour and looked shabby. I was freed from the days of enduring her demands and sarcasm, living comfortably. It's hard for Jackson to raise Marcia alone, so we suggested they live with us. Matt and I decided to help with childcare. On days Matt has to work overtime or weekends, I, who finish work earliest, pick up Marcia from daycare. Marcia is very kind, just like Jackson. On the birthdays of Jackson, myself, and Matt, Marcia gives us beaded accessories, accompanied by heartfelt letters. I look forward to her future. We three adults want to continue warmly watching over Marcia's growth.